Mike Brennan, welcome back. It's 2024. Where do the years go? I won't tell you how old Matt and I are, but we're above 39 now. That's all I can tell you.
Yes. Yeah.
Uh, maybe a tad above that. And so our first show of the year, we're going to bring back a very young man named Terry Bean. And anybody that's been in this market for a long time like us knows that Terry Bean is the social media guru that we have. And I was looking at my Facebook page in December, and so I noticed that he's now doing a course on thought leadership. So welcome, Terry.
Thanks, man. Good to see you guys. Happy New Year. Go blue. And I think we got all the requisite stuff out of the way there.
Yep, we're covered
Okay.
now. We're good. So
And go LTU.
yes, and go LTU, definitely
Thank you for
yes.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm not sure when folks will see this show, but yeah, today is January 8th when we're recording the show. And of course, there's a bit of a big game on tonight that involves the University of Michigan. But we won't go any further into that. We'll just wait because it'll be over by the time everybody sees this, right? So anyway, let's talk about
100%.
thought leadership. So what exactly is that, Terry? What are you up to?
So, thought leadership is just a way to really position yourself as an expert in your market. The goal being to be the go-to person, the one that people think of when the topic comes up where your area of expertise is. You own spot one in their mental Rolodex. So, after doing that for a number of years and showing people how to stay visible and own that spot, I was like, well, maybe it's time for a 10-week course on it. So, I put that together.
All right. So tell us what the value is in being considered a thought leader. Is it something you could put a figure on, or is it more of a just sort of a generic, you're going to be there when people have a question?
I love that question, Matt. So there are definitely some tangible benefits, and then there's plenty of intangible. So from a tangible side, if you're the thought leader, it makes it easier to attract and convert prospects into clients, right? So there's more business for you. It is a great way to be able to attract new employees. Employees want to work for folks that are considered a thought leader. So if hiring's a challenge or turnover is a challenge, having that thought leadership helps. And then there's also the intangible things like being asked to come and present. When we're looking at people for TEDx Detroit as an example, we're gauging their level of perceived thought leadership, right? You can be a thought leader in an experience that only you have had, and there are certainly stories like that. But there's also times when we're bringing in people to talk about, let's call it electric vehicles. If you started doing EV work 5 weeks ago, you're not getting on the TED stage. But if you're the thought leader in that space, that red dot could be yours.
All right. So break down the course. What's it all going to entail? And of course, I imagine there's some financial remuneration involved.
Yeah, I really go out of my way, Mike and Matt, to stop doing things for free.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there
We
is
can
there's a
relate.
price.
But the exposure will be great for you, right?
Yeah,
That's
right.
right.
Remember that
Yeah.
one?
That's a
Oh
good one.
yeah, man. I have sent my mortgage company so much exposure. They're like, listen, we're about to have you arrested. So Session one is all about who you are. We take a really deep dive into you so we can figure out who you are, what makes you tick, what's going to make people resonate with you, and how you show up. And so it's got that kind of introspective, guided introspective way. Number two is about what you do, because ultimately that should be the reflection of who you are. And I've had people go through this course and change careers as a result of it. That's
Hmm.
not necessarily the goal, but it can be the outcome. And the what you do is important because not only do you get a better framework for it, you get the messaging that's going to support it, that's going to attract and compel people to follow you. Session three is about what you do or who you do it for and why they care, right? Again, taking that messaging a little bit deeper. It's not enough to know a thing or do a thing. You've got to dot the right people right between the eyes with your message and tell them why it matters to them. Sessions 4 and 5 are all about what I call being the shit on the socials. I don't know if we swear on this show, so let's pretend it was in quotes, so it's not an official swear. But it's story selling, humor, inspiration, and truth. Those are my 4 pillar framework for how you do social media better. So we're going to take a deep dive into that. Session 6 is all about how to create raving fans and build your mutual admiration society. Session 7's one-on-one time with me, where we get really granular on what you need, who you need to meet, what information you need to connect with, how you need to position yourself, so we can build a real action plan for you. Section 8, we're going back into coursework and we're doing a marketing guidelines. I can't call it a marketing plan, but it's definitely the posts of what you need to do to get your message out. Next, Session 9 is about becoming your own PR rep, so you can actually get some more public recognition. And Session 10 is about how to be a better presenter, whether you're sitting on a video with you lovely people or you're in front of a stage in front of hundreds or thousands of folks. Being a better public speaker is going to serve you well.
Absolutely.
And that's the 10-week course.
All right. So is this a live course in a classroom or on Zoom, or is it sort of didactic where you're talking and people can tune into the course online whenever they feel like it?
I like that question. So this particular session that kicks off Wednesday, January 17th, is going to be live virtually. Right. So there'll be a live studio audience, but we'll all be sitting in front of our laptops doing the thing.
Yeah, that Matt, he's a pretty good question asker. I'm not sure where he picked that up from, but well, let's talk about well, I mean, how do people, you got them all slathered up here. They're going, I want to work with Terry Bean. How does one do that?
It's relatively easy. I tried to hide myself in plain sight as much as possible. So if you're looking for Terry Bean or Trybean, Trybean on the social medias or on the website, you're going to find me, man. Trybean.com is the website. Trybean.com/thought leader course is where you're going to get all the details on this particular offering. But I do some other stuff. I do a little bit of one-on-one coaching still. I offer a lot of corporate training, and I still love nothing more than getting up in front and having a mic in my hand, doing that keynote speaking thing. So it's a good time, man. It's a good time.
And
So
getting back to the financial remuneration, didn't mean to cut you off, Matt. I imagine there's a fee. Is it you pay per session or for the whole collection or what?
Yeah, it's the collective. It's $997 right now, so just under $1,000. And by the time you're done, I've watched some students of mine that I've got one student, Princess Castleberry, that came through this class two years ago. She speaks more than I do now. It's really empowering and awesome and frustrating simultaneously, man. She's out there doing it. Like, I need to sit in the class and take some notes.
So talk a little bit about your background and what it is that that qualifies you to teach this course. I know you've become a thought leader in your own right over the years in social media marketing. So talk about your background just a bit.
Yeah, so I'm a communications guy. Like you fellas, I'm someone that can take a pile of information, gist it into something that makes sense and will really reach an audience. And as a result of that, it helped me grow a following on LinkedIn and Facebook and eventually Twitter. Not so much Instagram, because that's a visual thing, and I don't do good on either side of a camera. But it's the ability to actually put yourself out there. And I've done that repeatedly, publicly for a very long time through groups like Motor City Connect, which was a large business networking organization I started about 18 years ago, through TEDx Detroit, which just wrapped its 15th edition back in September. We're working on number 16. And then just doing a lot of really fun, interesting, and hopefully good stuff for our community here in the Detroit area.
Let's talk about your TEDx. Like you say, you're going into not year 6. Is it year 16 as well, or is it just program 16?
Year 16, man. We're gonna
Wow,
have to give
sweet
that thing a
16.
license.
Yeah. So how did year 15 go? I know Matt and I were going to try to make it, but as you know, we're pretty covered up most of the time. So how did that one go?
It went well. Every year we finish that event, I look at the team, I say the same thing. I don't know how we're going to do better than this. And every year, magically, we do. We did it at Motor City Casino Soundboard, which was by far the coolest, like hippest, techiest, most interesting venue. Didn't have the same historical perspective as some of the other ones, but it was like for a technology kind of centered event, it was spot on. So that part was cool. The speakers were amazing. And the only challenge was it's still been a little more difficult to get butts and seats than we'd like. We came up to about 1,000 people this year. So it was well attended. I'm not saying it was 50 folks, but when you're expecting 1,500 to 2,000 and you see almost 1,000, it's not quite the same, man. And I'm always like, I want it all, right? I don't want just part of it. I want all of it.
So what was the focus this year? Did you have a theme, or is it just basically the typical collection of TED Talks about people, their careers, their backgrounds?
Yeah, so we haven't really done the whole theme thing. Our recurring theme is ideas we're spreading from Detroit, right? And so it's always about cool and innovative things and people that are here, or at least were here at one point. I think one of the highlights of this year was the gentleman who's the CEO of Karma Automotive. And if you haven't gone and looked at the Karma EV automobile, it is a stunner. He actually, well, I don't think he brought it, but the team brought one, and it was in what's called TEDx Labs, which is kind of the hands-on trade show portion of TEDx. That car was beautiful, and we talked a little. He actually got up and spoke and talked a little bit about the work that they're doing and how that's going. We had some great guys. Jason Bressler is the CTO or CIO of UWM. He talked about being Teflon and how to delegate and get more stuff done, and just his amazing approach and attitude. Jay Johnson from Behavioral Elements talked about all these very cool behavioral tools and how we actually can behave intelligently once we understand how we're showing up. So that was fun. Tina Marie Wofield and Lee Meadows talked about some really cool future of work stuff. It was a great event all the way around.
Sounds like it. If are you looking for people to help you start to organize next year? I guess we're in 2024 now, this year's event.
I'm always looking for people, man. You
Okay.
can reach out to me at bean@trybean.com would be amazing. I love talking to people about this. Yeah, especially if you've got a passion for our area, right? That's number one. Number two is you like doing innovative, cool stuff.